a little bit about the Coastal palette and the e.l.f. Halo Glow. So first off, the Coastal palette. Overall, I think this is a beautiful palette. It's very fun to use and definitely caters to those of you who love cool tones. So if that is your jam and you want something that is affordable, you love these shades, I would say you won't be disappointed with this. Now, the one shade in here that I just feel like in both this palette and the Huda palette, I feel like this shade is pointless. It is a gloss shade that never sets down. It's almost like putting lip balm on your eyelids. And there's a similar shade in the Naughty Nudes palette from Huda. And I don't understand it. I mean, it looks great for about 5 seconds on your eyes before it makes everything crease and just wear away. So that's a one shade in here. I don't know that you could technically use it as lip balm, but it's fun to look at. It has these like pearls inside of it. It's kind of cool. But the rest of the palette, I feel like they're very fun shades. As you saw in the swatches, several of these shades are more glitter toppers. So I do wish like this one was more pigmented rather than a topper, but I feel like toppers are kind of the in thing right now. And overall, like I said, as I was using the matte, I love in particular the mattes in this palette. So for the $20 price point minus the 10% off discount, I think this is a really good value for your money. And there are some really unique tones in this palette. So if those are your kinds of tones and shades, I think you would really enjoy that. Now let's go on to the e.l.f. Halo Glow Beauty Wands. Okay, so overall, I think these are a really good product. They do have 2% squalane in them, so I think these are particularly great if you have drier skin, but I do feel like these are a little tricky to apply. So definitely the blushes and the highlighter, I think apply from the back of your hand and tap them in. That will help prevent any lifting of your foundation underneath. The contours, I feel like you can use those directly on your skin as long as you blend them out as you go. All right, now let's just talk briefly about how these wands compare to their higher end counterparts. So these wands all retail for $9 each. You get 0.33 ounces. The contours, we'll start there. They come in 5 shades. I have the Fair Light and Light Medium. And I believe that the Fair Light is the only one that's super cool. The rest of them do have a little bit of warmth in them. And they do have the sponge tip squeeze kind of tube type applicator, which is not really my favorite. As you can see, they do get quite messy because there is no locking mechanism on them. All right, so let's compare those now to the Charlotte Tilbury and the Tarte. So the Tarte retails for $35 for 0.4 ounces. The contour does come in 5 shades. It has a squeeze tube and a sponge tip, but it is a locking mechanism. So I've not ever cleaned this, and I've had this for quite a while, and you can see it stays a lot cleaner. It's neater. So just something to be aware of. It does have that lock, and you can just squeeze up a little bit and then lock it back. And I feel like it allows you a little more control. And I personally feel like this is a very forgiving, easy to use formula. As long as you tap it in, I feel like you have a little more work time. And this shade I have is Cool Bronze. So this is one of the lighter shades, but that is it right there. And this has like 5 really good ingredients in it. Diamond powder, you know, all these kind of great things. So it does have extra good ingredients that you're not finding in the e.l.f. Now the other is the Charlotte Tilbury, and this is the one I feel like is the standard that everybody is trying to replicate. And I have the darker of the two. This only comes in 2 shades, and this is the medium dark one. Now this one I have to be careful with because it is so dark, but again, it does have that locking mechanism. You can squeeze up the product and then lock it before you apply it. I would say this one, you have a little bit of working time, but you do kind of want to work a little quicker. And because I have a darker shade, I do feel like I do have to blend this one in, but I don't have to use very much product. A little really goes a long way. Now the Charlotte Tilbury, this retails for $42, same size as the Tarte, 0.4 ounces. So I would say in the contours as comparison, I think as long as you work quickly with the e.l.f. ones and just kind of go in sections and go with a little bit of product, I think these are a great alternative to these two, but I do feel like there are differences in the formulation. Let's go to highlighter next, and the e.l.f. highlighter in Candlelight, I feel like this one is not as pigmented or as effective. I do feel like this one is a little more of a watery texture as compared to the Charlotte Tilbury highlighter wand. I have it in the Pillow Talk color. And again, same size, same pricing as the contours, but like you can kind of just see, I mean, I did blend that one out, so let's be fair, but you can just see the Charlotte Tilbury are much more opaque. And I do feel like the Charlotte Tilbury can work well over the top of powder. I feel like the e.l.f. one did struggle a bit. And the Charlotte Tilbury, I've not had any issues with it picking up my foundation. So formulation wise, I do feel like they are different. The highlight is probably my least favorite of this new release from e.l.f. I would actually recommend the Halo Glow over this. I just feel like for the price, I mean, this is $14, but you're getting a ton of product. And on especially mature skin, textured skin, I just feel like this is a more beautiful look, and it's something you can use underneath makeup, on top of makeup. It provides a little bit of a blurring effect as well. So I would say if you were gonna choose between the highlight wand, the beauty wand, or the Halo Glow, and this comes in tons of different colors, I would go with this. Now let's talk about the blushes. So e.l.f. has 4 different shades. And as far as how they compare to the Tarte blush tape and the Charlotte Tilbury High Blush, I've got some swatches on my hand. I'm also going to bring in a comparison of the Tarte Maneater blushes. I'll show you why. So here is the e.l.f. Magic Hour blush, and just full on swatch, you can see a little better. This, for me, my skin tone is not a blush shade. It's more of a shimmery bronzer topper kind of shade. So I do feel like this is a great addition to another blush. On its own, it doesn't look like enough color for me. Blended though with the Rose You Slay, you can see it does make a really beautiful combination. So as I mentioned, as I was using these, you definitely need to work these from the back of your hand and then tap them on in order to prevent lifting from your foundation. Now, swatched around them, I have the comparison. So here next to the Rose You Slay is the Tarte blush tape in pink. And honestly, I actually don't love this formulation from Tarte. I like the contour wand better. This one though, it's okay, but I feel like the color is a little sheerer and a little more metallic than the one next to it. The one next to it is my preferred formulation from Tarte. It's the Maneater Blush and Glow Cheek Plump. I love this, and that is what is this right here. I feel like this is the easiest thing to work with. You can blend it out easily. You can tap the dots directly on your cheek. It won't lift your foundation. And you can see it does have a little more color pigmentation even than the e.l.f. one, but less of that metallic shine. Now, these swatches here are the 2 Charlotte Tilbury High Blushes. So this is the peach shade right here. It's really beautiful, but I feel like it's even a little light in color on me. So I actually kind of like to blend it with the pink version. The pink version is still my all-time favorite. And again, as compared to the e.l.f., they're just a lot more forgiving. These have been sitting on my skin for quite a while, and I can easily blend these out still to where they look seamless. The e.l.f., it's like they're dried on my hand, and you could blend a little bit of the top, but you can see it's not blending seamlessly into the skin like the Charlotte Tilbury ones are. So there are pretty big differences in formulation. The colors are very similar. So that pink color from Charlotte Tilbury, very similar to the e.l.f. But again, the formulation, how they perform, I still prefer the Tarte and the Charlotte Tilbury over the e.l.f., but I understand those don't fit into everybody's budget. So if you are somebody who's been wanting to play around with some liquid blushes or liquid contours, I would definitely check out the e.l.f. ones. As far as the highlighter goes though, I would opt for the Halo Glow over the blush wand. I just think you're going to be happier with how that performs. So overall, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to check the description box below for links to everything that I mentioned. I'll list the colors that I used, the brushes I used, what's on my fingernails, where my shirt's from, all of that good stuff. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.